You've almost certainly heard his work, but I'm guessing you've probably never heard his name. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a truly hidden artist, a creative force behind some legendary rock anthems and some seriously intense movie scores.
All right, so let's get right into it. This story really starts with a puzzle. It's a tale of two completely different creative worlds that seem like they're miles apart. The raw, roaring energy of a stadium rock show and the quiet, intense focus of a film composer's studio.
So here's the big question. I want you to really think about this. What in the world connects a classic Santana rock anthem from the 80s, that killer keyboard sound, to a sci-fi thriller directed by, of all people, William Shatner? What could possibly be the link there?
I mean, on one hand, you have global rock tours, playing keyboards for millions of screaming fans with legendary bands like Santana and Yes. And on the other hand, you have the intricate art of film scoring, crafting the entire emotional mood for movies from studios like Miramax and Sci-Fi. These feel like two totally separate careers, right?
Well, the answer, the bridge that connects these two completely different worlds, is one person, Richard John Baker. He's the common thread. He's the guy who lived in both of these incredible landscapes. So the real question becomes, how on earth did he pull that off?
To understand how, we've got to go way back. Let's rewind to his beginnings in Montreal, Canada. Because his journey didn't start in some gritty rock club. Nope. It started in the world of classical music as a genuine child prodigy.
And I'm not kidding about the prodigy part. His talent just exploded. He started studying music at age 3. He gave his first concert at 5. And get this, by the time he was just 7 years old, he was already performing with the Montreal Symphony Orchestra. 7. That level of talent is just astounding.
But it wasn't just raw talent. He backed it up with some serious training. He got a formal education in composition and conducting at the prestigious McGill University. And this classical foundation, this deep understanding of how music is built, that would become the bedrock for everything he would do later on, no matter the genre.
So from that classical foundation, he makes a huge leap. Let's jump to the next chapter of his life, because this is how that Montreal prodigy ended up on the biggest stages in the world, sharing the spotlight with absolute rock and roll royalty.
And just look at this list of collaborators. We're talking about being the touring and recording keyboardist for Santana during their huge platinum-selling Zebop and Shango albums. He worked with prog rock giants Yes, the powerhouse vocalist Beth Hart, and even the lead singer of Iron Maiden, Bruce Dickinson. It just shows you how versatile he was. He could play with anybody.
And the sheer scale of his work here is staggering. His contributions as a keyboard player, an arranger, a programmer, they appear on over 100 albums, and many of those went gold and platinum. He wasn't just a sideman, he was a key part of the sound on a massive number of hit records.
So after conquering the world of stadium rock, a completely new calling emerged. This is the big pivot in his story. The transition from performing on stage in front of thousands to composing alone in a studio for the big screen. He started his film scoring career back in the 90s, just steadily building it up over the decades. The 2000s were a real breakthrough for him, landing projects for major players like Miramax. And he's still going strong today, with recent scores for modern action films in the 2020s. It's a career defined by incredible longevity and adaptation.
And here are just a few of those collaborations. He scored Beneath Loch Ness, which was put out by Miramax. He worked directly with William Shatner on his sci-fi film Groom Lake. And more recently, he's done the music for movies like Project Legion and Mojave Diamonds. So yeah, he has stayed very relevant in today's film world.
And his screen work wasn't just limited to movies. The guy's music is everywhere. He's powered trailers for NBC, added all that tension to segments on America's Most Wanted, and set the mood for huge ad campaigns for brands you definitely know, like Kraft Foods and Hyatt Hotels. He's really a composer for all kinds of media.
So we've seen the two parallel careers, the classical prodigy who becomes a rock star, who then becomes a film composer. Now, let's put it all together and figure out what makes his musical signature so unique. What exactly is the Baker sound?
Well, you can kind of think of it like a recipe. First, you start with that deep, formal classical training from his prodigy years. Then you infuse that with all the raw energy, the rhythm, and the attitude he picked up from years of touring with world-class rock bands. And finally, you apply all of that to one single goal, using music to make a visual story even more powerful.
And this quote from his official biography just nails it perfectly. His entire career is a journey that bridges classical, rock, and cinematic traditions. He doesn't just work in these worlds. His sound is the actual bridge that connects them.
Ultimately, Richard John Baker isn't just a rock musician who also writes for film or a composer with a rock background. He's something much rarer than that. He's an artistic voice whose work is a true fusion of both worlds. He successfully built that bridge, and he created something totally unique in the process.
And that really leaves us with a final thought. Baker's story is a great reminder that behind so much of the art we love, that song that defined your summer, the movie score that gave you chills, there are hidden creators with these incredible, complicated stories. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Who are the other hidden artists out there, shaping the soundtracks of our lives?